Mr. Millwood is recognized to speak in favor of the motion to reconsider.
You know, I've been sitting in my chair for most of this debate, so I've listened to just about everything everybody said. And I got to tell you, I've never been that kind of person to sit down and shut up. And tonight, I'm not going to sit down and shut up because there's been some things said. Mr. Smith pointed out that last year in South Carolina, the state government paid for 6 abortion procedures. What James Smith should have said was that last year alone, we killed 6 babies on the government's dime in South Carolina. 6 babies. That's what this is about. This is about this state government, South Carolina, killed 6 children last year. I'm talking about just a few months ago, I went to the doctor, and I said this to Miss Nanny the other night, and I'm going to say it again, and you're going to hear it. I went to the doctor at 6 weeks with my wife, and that doctor hooked that ultrasound machine up to my wife, and I heard my son's heartbeat. And I did the same thing 2 years ago when my daughter was born. 6 babies we killed in South Carolina last year on the taxpayers' dollars. That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. And for anybody to stand up here and defend that is horrible. Representative Rutherford can say anything he wants. That is horrible. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not standing up here telling you that these crimes that you're talking about aren't horrible, because they are. That father that rapes his daughter should go to jail for a very long time, maybe even pay with his life. But that poor innocent baby will not pay for that man's crimes, because that's that man's crimes. That's not that baby's crime. We're talking about there are hundreds of thousands of families in this country right now, that cannot have a child. They cannot have a child. These families will be more than happy to adopt these babies. So, Ms. Cobb-Hunter, yes, we do. I mean, these children can be taken care of. They can. These small babies that we're talking about, we killed 6 of them last year on the taxpayer dime. These 6 babies could have found their way to a loving home. And you know, and I wasn't going to come up here and bring God and religion into things. I'm Baptist. And yeah, I believe in the 10 Commandments. And yes, I don't believe that we should be killing babies in South Carolina. But let me tell you, Ms. Cobb-Hunter, we got stories too. You got your story from last night. Well, let me tell you a story about 2 weeks ago. I'm standing at a meet and greet in a restaurant, and a man comes into that restaurant with 2 little girls. And he says, I want to introduce you to my daughter. This little girl, her mother was told by a doctor that she should have an abortion because this little girl's got problems. She's going to have health issues as she gets older. And that little girl, she probably wasn't, you know, in society's terms, she probably wasn't perfect. But guess what? In God's eyes, she was perfect. And you know what she asked me? She asked me one question. And he said this. He said, listen, we came here today because my daughter wants to ask you one question. And I looked down at this little girl with her brown eyes and her long brown hair, this beautiful little girl. And she looked up at me and in a little soft voice, she said, do you believe in God? Do you believe in God? That's the one question this little girl wanted to come out. This little girl, and I can't remember correctly, but I think she was in 5th grade. This one little girl whose mother was told by a doctor that she should be aborted is living today to come ask me if I believe in God. And I can tell you that I do, and I thank God to this day that little girl was here to ask me if I believe in God. 6 babies last year, the state of South Carolina killed on the taxpayers' dime. 6 babies. No, I'm not taking questions. 6 babies on the taxpayer dime, Representative Smith. And he kind of said that in a way that made it not seem serious, didn't he? 6 babies. He said it in a way that maybe we should kill 6 more babies this year. If we take this away, we can't kill 6 more babies this year. 6 babies. We killed them last year. The taxpayers of South Carolina killed 6 babies last year. And y'all can all sit in here and you can shake your heads and all of that. And I'll tell you, I don't take a whole lot personal. And I shook Todd's hand a few minutes ago, even though that was quite offensive what he said. And me and Todd will be friends, and we'll agree to disagree. But the one thing that 6 babies. We killed 6 babies last year. I can stand up here. How much time do I have left?
4 minutes and 40 seconds.
4 minutes. For the next 4 minutes, I'm going to say we killed 6 babies last year on the taxpayer's dime. We killed 6 babies last year on the taxpayer's dime. And no, I'm not answering questions. We killed 6 babies last year on a taxpayer's dime. The taxpayers of South Carolina killed 6 babies last year. How horrible does that sound? I mean, does that sound good to you, Ms. Cobb-Hunter? Does that sound fantastic to you? That the state of South Carolina on the taxpayer dime killed 6 babies last year? 6 babies. 6 beautiful little babies. And I've been here since Monday night, and I don't stay here it's very rare that I stay here, because every single night I want to be at home so that my little girl can sit at my lap every night and get a little sleepy, and I can walk her to her bed, and I can say, good night, I love you. That is a child, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a child. You can frame the issue any which way you want. You can talk about women's rights. You can talk about everything that you want to talk about. But the real thing here is, like I said, I'm not going to sit down and shut up, because guess what? I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to be a voice for millions of babies around this country who cannot speak for themselves. Millions of babies who at 6 weeks has a heartbeat. Has a heartbeat at 6 weeks. And guess what? The state of South Carolina killed 6 babies last year on the taxpayer's dime. And if you think that's okay, I'm going to pray for you tonight. And I hope you pray that we don't kill 6 more babies this year.